In 2013, there was an enormous influx of Bigfoot sightings in one key area of rural Kentucky. This sparked the curiosity and successful investigation led by 2014 Bigfoot Investigator of the Year, Thomas Marcum, who has lived in this area most of his life. During this investigation, some crucial evidence was collected and documented. Tracks, track castings, stick formations, and a game camera photograph were all presented to the public in the original film, Bigfoot Tracking a Legend. But this was only a small part of a much bigger, more compelling story. New and critical evidence about this creature is being found on a regular basis. The investigation of this creature has been ongoing over the years. The legend is still being tracked. It's still out there. We now join Thomas in the research area as he looks for evidence and sets up game cameras.
I'm back in the sighting area from 2013, a sighting in which I investigated, and I was able to find a track line. I was able to find lots of broken branches and a few stick structures. This is the first time I've been back in about 5 or 6 months, so I'm hoping it's still in the area and I can find evidence of it. I think I'm going to place a game camera right here close where it can shoot this little flat. Down in that area is actually where I found the tracks, a little bit further to the left, but found the actual track line, I should say, and the stick structure. But I'm going to place a game camera right here. Okay, while setting up this first game cam, I come down here and laid my backpack and my camera next to this old fallen log. And at first I thought this was just some mushroom, but if you look, that is some kind of pallet with teeth in it. I don't exactly know what it's from. I'm going to bag it up and find out. I hopefully find out. Maybe somebody can tell me what it is and why it was laying on top of this stump, or this log rather. That's kind of interesting. It looks like it's old, but still kind of different.
On the hike to set up another game camera, Thomas finds possible evidence that the creature has been in the area.
Well, here is a big old pile of poo, which hard to say, it could be a bear. But it sure is definitely a big old pile. An old tractor of some kind. It's awful big to be a bear. It could have been a person maybe. I don't know. It's old. There's another one on this side of it. Now these are old tree breaks, but right there's one, and then you got right here, right beside it, there's one, and then if you go up this little tree, right there, that one right there is also whittled on somehow. And this is real close to where I found those teeth a while ago. So I'm gonna keep looking around. I don't know really. I'd hate to try to guess how old that right there is, but that's right at 6 foot high. That's right at 6 foot high right there. I found this break right here, and that is about 8 foot high. And now it's old, don't get me wrong. But now what would break it that high, bring it down, stick it behind this other little branch, and what would be the chance of the wind doing that? I just don't see it. I don't know exactly what did it, but that's I think that's kind of odd and stands out to some degree. Here is a nice little area that would be good for tracks. I have crossed here myself a few times. It's usually pretty soft. I don't see anything, maybe some old deer tracks. But I'm going to keep looking down this way a little bit. See what we can find, maybe. This appears to be an old track, but I think it's actually an old bear track. Because if I look right here, ouch, that there looks like an old bear track to me. It could be a handprint though, it's hard to say. It's old and washed out, so I was going along this creek looking for tracks and things like that. I've worked up a pretty good sweat so far. Second game cam has been put up. I'm about killed. I've hiked quite a bit today. I've not really found a whole lot, but I don't stop the mountains from being steep.
After setting up a few more game cameras, Thomas leaves the research area and returns home. After arriving home, Thomas contacts anthropologist Dale Drinnon in hopes that he can shed some light on the found teeth. Could they be from a primate? After some study, Dale was able to provide some information. Dale had this to say. The teeth are in a condition called lophodont. The enamel is folded into ridges. This is a condition common in certain types of herbivorous animals, not in carnivores, and not in primates. This is not a human, and it is not a primate. Together, Dale and Thomas concluded the teeth were most likely from a deer or similar animal. Thomas returns to the research area to collect the game cameras and search for more evidence that the creature is still in the area.
Okay, out of breath, that little hill got me. I've come back from my game cams. They've been out about 60 days, roughly, maybe somewhere between 40 and 60. I've not even been back over here, so I'm going to get my game cams. I'm going to do a little bit of exploring too and see if I can find anything. I'm traveling in the same way I always come. Everything's a little bit greener. It's been 1 year since my dad had his sighting in this area. Might be maybe just possibly just a few days over 1 year. We've had a lot of rain the last few days, so any tracks we should find should be fresh, if we can find anything. I've seen some deer tracks so far, but that's about it. The first game cam is now in my backpack. The batteries on it were dead, which could be a good sign that it took a lot of pictures, because it had fresh batteries in it. So I won't know until I get home, so I don't have no way of checking them out here in the mountains. I know they make a thing where you can check them, but I don't have one. Now I'm going to go on to game cam number 2. This is the big exit the Bigfoot creature made, probably close to a year ago, 7 or 8 months ago anyways. But it looks like a few more sticks have been added to it. I've looked at it and touched it, but I've not really, I wouldn't want to tear it down or nothing like that. But I'm going to get a little closer and let you look at it a little closer up. See how they put them in that one main fork? There was just a couple, best I can remember. But of course the ground's too hard here to see any tracks or anything. And that pole right there, it's been placed there. There's no root system. It's not broke off or nothing. It's just been placed there. So it's kind of interesting. I don't really know what it means, but all right, I'm gonna continue on toward the game cams. We made it to game cam number 2. Let's see if it's still taking pictures or the batteries are dead. The second game cam is in my backpack. The batteries were dead on it to the point that it wouldn't take pictures, but I was able to power it up and see that it did have, I couldn't tell if it was 200 and some or 2,000 some pictures. Either way, there's pictures on it, so I won't really know what we captured until, after I get back home and put it on the computer. Now I'm going to explore a little bit, see if I can find any tracks or anything. And then I'm going to go back a different direction that I've not really explored much. Good Lord willing. But I got to check right down here next to this creek. There was a big pile of scat before. I assumed it was a bear. It looked like bear. But I'm going to go check it out. I just heard something across the creek. Heard brush pop. Now I don't know if it's a deer or what, but I'm going to try to find out. I sure don't see anything. Something popped just like you step on a down branch or something that popped. And there's no wind, so. I went down to where the bear scat was last time I was here. I didn't see any tracks, and of course, you know, the bear scat, it's already gone. It's rained it out and rotted it away. I've not really seen no fresh sign that Bigfoot's been through here, but that don't mean anything. The ground's pretty hard, so unless I can find a track around one of those little streams or creeks, it's might be difficult. I am going to go explore a new direction. People don't realize just how vast this is in here. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of acres. And there's no houses. I mean, it's miles and miles to the next house. Or to a house, not the next to a house. So this is what Bigfoot research is all about, though. You got to get out in the mountains. There's no, as you can see around in here, there's no, this is not a walked area or a marked trail or anything like that. This is out in nothing. So I'm going to go up here maybe where there's an old logging road where they logged maybe 40 or 50 years ago, and maybe travel it a little bit. It's beautiful country in here for sure. I just wish I could find some Bigfoot stuff. Outings like today, where I know I'm in an area where Bigfoot has been seen, where I found evidence myself, and then you come out on a day like today, good temperatures, sweating some, but it ain't too bad, and it seemed like I just can't find anything. I'm just going to rest a few minutes and I'm going to keep looking. As I was walking along, I looked up on the hill and I spotted this thing here. I could just see the very top of it, and I thought, you know, that looks kind of interesting. So I made a trek up the hill to come up here and check it out, and it's kind of unusual. It could just be, you know, a deadfall, but I know there's evidence of Bigfoot doing the same type of thing. I've not even went over to it yet. It's as close as I've got. But I'm going to ease over to it and look around. Like I say, I've never really explored this side. But maybe there's something here. I'm trying to find some, if there's any kind of tracks or whatever. I don't see anything, but you know, the ground's pretty hard. Now, some people might argue, well, this was just some people in here fooling around and stuff like that. Well, I'm telling you, there's nobody. It's miles to a house, and this is probably a mile or two back hiking in the mountains. So the chances of it being done by a kid are pretty slim. It could be natural fall or something, but yeah, I find it interesting, and I'm just going to keep looking around. So what's that white thing way back there? I might go that way and check that out. Well, I made it up to where the big shiny white thing is. It's actually tree bark. The way the light was hitting it, I couldn't tell what it was. I'd rather come and check it out than walk off and leave it and it'd be something important. But that was a big tree it fell. Big hemlock. Oh man, it's hard to walk up this hill. I'll turn around and give you a little look. That's pretty steep. May not look it to you all, but you go dragging 300 pounds of it, it'll make you huff. There is a possible old tree break. Don't know for sure, but something broke it. Now, to me, this is a good area. I mean, a good Bigfoot area. So this is. I've only traveled maybe I took my time, so probably a couple miles from where the X, and I found all the tracks and stuff like that. So still in the general area. I want to look around a little bit more. I got a couple interesting things here. There looks like possibly an old break. Maybe nothing to it, I don't know. But notice these trees. Now, I don't know. Maybe that's a natural thing, I don't know. Seems kind of weird to me. I kind of like it, it's kind of neat. I found this old jug, and you can see, looks like teeth marks on the side where it punctured it. That was probably some kind of old oil container, possibly like cooking oil like you use at a restaurant. And I guess the old bear chewed into it to get a little taste of that too. I don't know where it's getting it from or where it got that stuff at, but oh well. I do see something else interesting. I'm gonna make my way to it. I'll show it to you. Them rocks are unusually stacked. I'm gonna go check them and see if it's natural or man-made or what. I guess maybe we won't be able to determine, but we get to look at them anyway. Here's that pile of rocks. It could be natural, I guess. I don't know. But they look like they've been placed on there to me. Human, Bigfoot, loggers, surveyors, Indians, I don't know. This seems out of place that they all piled up right here. Oh well, something else to think about, I guess.
After several hours of hiking, Thomas decides to call it a day. But first, one quick look in an area he has not explored since the 2013 sightings.
I've not really been on this side since the actual sighting that my dad had. This is the direction that the Bigfoot went. We did find tracks and stuff in here before when it actually happened, a few days later, but this is the first time I've been back on this side since then, so I'm gonna look around a little bit. It's kind of limited how far you can go because you get right up against a mountain that's really, really steep, and I don't know if a man wants to try to tackle that or not.
After returning home, Thomas reviews the images and videos from the game cameras. Game cameras can be very useful tools in the effort to document Bigfoot. Not only are they used in the hopes of capturing an image of Bigfoot, but they also provide information about other animals living in the area as well. An area with a diversity of animals would seem to be a more suitable living environment for a creature such as Bigfoot. After all, an ample food supply is a priority for all creatures, including Bigfoot. This particular round of game camera photographs and videos did not provide any evidence of a Bigfoot. But in 2013, Thomas was able to capture an image of what he believes to be a Bigfoot.
Before I get to the photo of the Bigfoot, let me first tell you that the date on the game cam is off. It was a new game cam, and it was the first time I was actually using it. I do not know the exact date, but it was sometime in late August of 2013. Let's start with a photo before the photo of the Bigfoot. I just recently noticed this, and here is the photo before the actual photo of the Bigfoot. There appears to have been something very close to the camera, to the game cam. Remember, this was a fresh sighting area. The witness was my father, my skeptical father at the time. And I also want you to notice on this photo that was before the Bigfoot photo, notice the timestamp. It's 3:06 a.m. Now let's look at the next photo. This is actually of the Bigfoot. It was a little overexposed. I've circled the Bigfoot. Please notice the timestamp, 3:08 a.m. Just 2 minutes after the previous photo. I have some enhancement and comparison photos I want to share with you as well. First, here is a negative effect to the photo. And here is a zoom. Of course, it pixels out some because of these are low-end game cameras. Please notice the head, the cheekbones, part of the right arm. Some of the figure is hid behind the leaves on the smaller trees. Here I have attempted to color the figure to make it stand out more. Then in the next photo I colored the surrounding trees with green. Let's look at the zoomed in photo again. Here is a negative of that, a negative effect of it, to show you that's actually there. Now let's compare, let's do a side-by-side comparison. Here I am on the right, daytime photo. The yellow circle behind me is where the Bigfoot is on the left half of the picture.
Thomas now attempts to return to the exact location where the images were obtained.
I think this may be where that game camera was set when I'm in slightly back this way, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to take a few shots right here and see to match them up later. Seemed like it might have should have been more like this. Maybe. Or if it was. Things changed so much, it's hard to say. Oops, thought that was a snake, but it's not. It wouldn't have been here. I'm pretty sure that's somewhere right in here. Maybe it's a little higher.
Thomas compares the area with the game camera photograph from 2013. By using the split in the tree bark of the larger tree, Thomas was able to confirm this spot as being the exact area where the 2013 game camera photograph of Bigfoot was taken. He uses a series of overlays to confirm this spot. Thomas and his son returned to the area to conduct some reenactments, in the hopes of gathering more details about the figure in the 2013 photograph.
Later. Right there. Okay. Yeah, which is bring it up now. Hold camera. Tilt it down just a little. And back up. Alright, move your hand, let me see. Bring your arm up a little bit more. Okay, right there. Hold still. I'm gonna go try to get where it was at. Okay. Okay. Now we know it was here. There's two trees and a dark tree. Right? Yeah. It was. Can you see me? Yeah. Maybe it was right in here. Alright, let me just keep spinning. I'll try a couple different spots just to make sure. Don't move the camera though. I'm trying not to, Arthur. I don't think it was back this far. You can't even see me back there, can you? Barely. Huh? Barely. Let me stand here and see. I know it's right through here somewhere. Okay. I know it was right there. It was right beside that. Look, I can blend it up once I get home, you know what I mean? Yep. I can't. No, now I can see you. I don't think it was this far back. I believe. I believe it might have been right here. Might have been. I ought to have enough, I guess. That's killer on the arms. Good up muscle, now. Now you go out there and stand. I'll get you because you're about the same size, so I'm a little taller than you. Ow. That way, in case you messed up on this fancy camera work. All right, keep on going straight. Keep on going straight. All right, right there. All right. Step back about. Step back that way to your. Yeah, back behind you. And just kind of peek around that trees right in there. Turn to your where your right shoulder's kind of facing me. Good. You step forward, one good step. There you go. I'm pretty sure that's where it was at. I'm pretty sure. step back that way a little bit. It might have been behind that log right there. Step right over it behind that log. Watch for a snake though. And now come right in front of that, right there. Right now, look at me. Man, it's hard to see you there. But now the lighting was, well, I think it was taken at night, so. Okay. All right, that'll do it. That'll be able to let me match it up, I hope. And we said this tree right here in front of us, this big one, was about 16 inches across.
Several still frames were taken from the reenactment video. These frames were then compared to the original photograph from 2013. After picking the best reenactment photo, more comparisons were made with the original photograph. Some details start to emerge. After studying the reenactment photos, frame number 7 was selected as being the one closest to the original 2013 photograph. The two photographs were then compared side by side. Finally, 3 reference points were selected to help match up the two photographs. Matching up the two photographs should provide more details about the figure. Reference number 1 was the split in the larger tree in the foreground. It is clearly visible in both photographs. Reference number 2 is the log laying on the left side of the frame. Reference number 3 is the thin tree that has a distinct limb pointing to the right, slightly left of center. Slowly, a small section at a time is cut out of frame number 7 and placed over the 2013 photograph. Carefully, each cut is aligned to the original picture. By doing this, we will be able to determine if Thomas is standing in the exact spot as the figure in the 2013 photograph. As the pieces come together, some details become more clear about the figure. It appears the figure is standing farther back than Thomas is. Thomas does appear to be about the same size as the figure. Knowing that Thomas's height is over 6 feet, this helps us to make a conclusion to the overall height of the figure. While we cannot determine the exact height of the figure, we can confirm that the figure is over 6 feet tall and probably not over 7 feet tall. The figure is a few feet back farther than Thomas. This results in the figure appearing slightly shorter than him. The figure is approximately 65 feet from the camera. While the figure and Thomas do appear similar, the body proportions of the figure do not seem to be that of a human. The head seems larger, the cheekbones higher, the arm longer, and the legs thicker. Some suggest that this is nothing more than a stump, but it does not appear in any other photographs. Others suggest it was a bear, but the only species of bear in this area is the black bear. A standing black bear only reaches a height of about 5 feet. There is no visible snout or ears on the figure. We are left with the conclusion that the figure is a Bigfoot, standing over 6 feet, but not over 7 feet tall. The height conclusion would also seem to correlate with the numerous tracks found in the area. The average length of the tracks have been 13 to 14 inches long. Although not scientific, studies suggest that a person's height is normally about half their shoe size. For example, a study by Courtney Pearson in 2013 of 199 people suggests that people with a shoe size of 13 would most likely be just over 6 feet tall. Over the following months, Thomas continued to research the area. He used a variety of game cameras and other techniques in attempts to document Bigfoot. He spent countless hours and walked endless miles searching for evidence of the creature. Trace evidence such as tracks and tree breaks were documented routinely.
Here's a little something unusual. It's kind of interesting. I kind of like it. Whether Mother Nature did it or Bigfoot, it's still something unusual to find. That's a fairly fresh tree break of some sort. That looks like it's about almost 6 foot high, but I don't know. I see no tracks. Of course, it's dry, but you kind of have to wonder what did that. I wouldn't think it was the wind. Just got this one little tree in amongst these other big ones. I don't know. It's alright though. No, don't look, it's too old. Alright, on up the hill. Okay, two little things of interest here. I don't know if you can see that in front of me. See if I can zoom in. There's a tree break right there. That's pretty high up. That's over 6 foot high. Well, if you come right over here, there's another one. And we'll see how high he is. See right here, it's about 6 foot high as well. They're both broke, pointing in that direction. Well, you may ask, well, what's in that direction? There's a pretty good sized creek in that direction. It's got fish in it. It's good water to drink. And, so maybe could that possibly be what these represent? That way is where a water source is. I'm not for sure, but that's it's possible, I suppose. There's a bone of some sort. I'm just guessing. I would say it's probably a deer. Just a guessing. I don't really know. That looks like what would be a knee joint or something. Just leave that right there. I don't see any other ones, so I found what could possibly be a track. I don't know if you can see that, but that would be the toes. It comes back, man, it's a pretty good size. You can see the edge right there, like the foot, the toes. These leaves fell on it, so maybe they stepped on that, I ain't for sure. But that sure looks like a track. For comparison, hour 13. You can see how big that is. I'll look around, see if I can find another one or two. It's hard to say just on one for sure, but that's what it looks like. And it's consistent with the sizes I found in here before, it looks like. Okay guys, I have found something. They're old, but I'm pretty sure this is a track. See this right here? Can you see that? I hope you can see that. The next step is, well, it's bigger than my step. Even though the track is about the size of my foot. Ouch. I can't make it to the next step. There's the next step. Here's the first step. See right here. Let me show you. Right here. Here's the heel. Here's the heel. and where the toes would be. Then the next step, whoops, my water fell out. The next step was all the way over here. And that is, that's too far for me. Now where did the next one go? I don't know. Man, that's a long step. That's more than a 3-foot stride. That's probably a 4 or 5 foot stride. There, to over there. Now let's see if we can see where the next one went. Them's old now. That's rained on those. Wow. I wished I could have found that when it was first a little fresher or something. I don't see where the next track goes to, but if it hit on this rock, that's why. After looking around for those tracks, I couldn't find another track there, but that was farther apart. The tracks were farther apart than what I could stretch and do. So the likelihood that it was done by me is slim, and I'm a pretty good sized guy. I'm like almost 6'4", and that was a big stride, you know. And I stretched, and I still couldn't reach it. So I'm gonna head back the other way. Had her take it. No, that's down here. But had her drink my other water. This one here hasn't been opened yet, and see what else we can find. So far, that's good there. I wished I could have found it a little fresher. I got my casting material with me. Makes the backpack heavy, but oh well. I would like to cast that track. All right. All right, the game cam is set up. I guess we call it number 1 for now. And the reason I chose this area is because it's so flat, you can see so far. And also that there's quite a few deer tracks through here. So if there's deer tracks, there stands a chance there'll be other game as well. Let me find a place to set this second one up. Okay, this is the second game cam. And what I normally do, since I'm up on the hill a little bit and I want to shoot down, I'll put me a stick in behind it, kind of make it angled down a little bit. And what else I normally do, I'll put one facing this direction, and then somewhere on the other side I'll put one facing back this way. And that has a dual purpose for me. One of the purposes I do it is in case, let's just say a Bigfoot, for example, sees one cam, he may try to go in the other direction, and if he does, maybe I got him. Maybe I can cross him up. And another thing I do it for is in case somebody steals my game cams. If somebody comes and steals this one, most likely I'll catch him on the other one. And there's a good chance I might know who it is. And if not, I could always post it on the internet. But make sure this is working. Yep, it's working. But I want to show you something else too. Look how those one limbs to the left are leaning. Now I know there's a lot of deadfall in here from wind, but that just seems odd to me. I want to walk up here and check it out a little bit. Here that is from the back side. I guess it's just where these blowdowns has caught them and knocked them over. But it takes time to learn about these structures and things, and what's done by nature and what could possibly be done by a human or a person or a Bigfoot or whatever. Now, this is a bear track. It's a double step, which makes it look kind of like a small foot, but it is a bear. Here is another one of them right here. You can see it. Okay, I'm going to show you something, and it may not seem like nothing to you. But see this stick? Now that is thoroughly jabbed down into the ground. It don't have no roots or anything like that, and this ground is really, really hard. And I've found this over and over and over in Bigfoot sighting areas. And just to see if I can show you, I'm just going to grab this, see if I can get on it. There's just no way. This ground is so hard. There's just no way that fell and stuck in there. See, I can't even get it back in there now. I've got it, but it ain't like it was. Now I found this type of stick behavior, I guess if you want to call it that, repeatedly in Bigfoot areas. And as you can look above me, there's a pine tree above me. So the chances of that falling and sticking there are really, really slim. Now why does Bigfoot jab them down in the ground like that, I don't know. But that is something to look for that I have found to be an authentic behavior in Bigfoot sighting areas. Don't know what it means, but I've found it many times. Just wanted to share that with you a little bit. Now this is close to that stick that was jabbed in the ground. I don't know, let me see, it's probably 40 feet. And this old top's twisted off. And most likely nothing that the wind had done. But there's certain things that are consistent in Bigfoot sighting areas. And that is two of the things. You'll find broken tops like that, and you'll find sticks jabbed in the ground. I found another X. Now it could be totally random, I don't know, but I don't know why it would be. If the wind was blowing one direction, you'd think they'd both fall the same direction. But it's kind of interesting. I wanted to share it with you anyway. Okay, I'm pretty close to getting back out of here. And I want to talk just a few minutes on stick structures. It takes a long time, and it takes a lot of time out in the forest to realize what is potentially natural and what is potentially unnatural when it comes to stick structures and deadfalls and things like that. What helped me in some of this, other than having been out in the woods a lot, for a pretty good while I logged. And when they cut a tree and tree falls and tears up everything, you get an idea of how things can lay and land, and that was helpful for me in determining what might be natural, what might be unnatural or created by Bigfoot. I know there's a lot of people that puts absolutely no stock in stick structures, and then there's some who are really overzealous and everything. Every time they find a twig laying funny, they think it's a Bigfoot. But I do know that they do things with sticks. But there's people out there that know a lot more about them than I do and what they do with them. But let's not discount all stick formations because we got a few people who's a little overzealous and want to claim everything's done by Bigfoot.
On one eventful day, Thomas was able to record possible tree knocks coming from a remote area.
You see all these turkey scratches, I don't know if you can see them. And right now I'm hearing some knocking. On the side of that mountain over there. Let me back away from this creek, maybe we can hear it better. Hear it? I don't know what it would be. because there's nothing down through there. The closest thing there is a cemetery, and it's way back. You gotta have basically have a four-wheel drive to get back there to it. Get back on up away from the street. Maybe you can hear it even better. Whatever it is, it sounds like it's hitting pretty heavy. Stop. I can't hear no voices or anything talking, so. I've got my knocker in my backpack, but I don't want to take it off. Let me get just a stick and see. I'll get something decent. I don't know, we'll find out maybe. Man, whatever that was hitting heavy too. No. If I'm not mistaken, that's the first time I've ever heard that many knocks that I really didn't know what it was. There it goes. Wow. Wow, let me see if I can find another stick. Alright, it's still going.
Eventually, the sounds stopped. Just what was making the sounds remains a mystery. With over 2 years of research in this area, the evidence list keeps growing. 3 sightings, over 30 tracks, numerous tree breaks and structures, unknown wood knock sounds, unknown vocals, and a game camera photograph. There have also been a few occasions of short howls being heard by Thomas, but unfortunately he was unable to record them. The activity in the area is still continuing. The research efforts are still ongoing. The creature we call Bigfoot is still being tracked.
I guess some people wonder why I do this, or maybe if there's something wrong with me, I suppose. But I don't do it to try to prove Bigfoot to the world. But I've had a couple encounters myself. My first one when I was a 15-year-old, and had a visual just a couple winters ago. And I don't do this to try to prove it to the mass public or anything. I do it to find out more about the creature myself. And you know, of course, by now I know for sure that it's 100% real. And I'm just trying to do what I can to share with like-minded people and those who are really truly interested, not those that are just into it to make fun of people or whatever. But I guess I figure I only got so much time I'll be able to do Bigfoot in the way I do it now, because I go into some pretty steep and rough areas, and a lot of people, I guess, just couldn't do it. And I guess the day will come when I couldn't do it. But between now and then, I'm gonna do my best to try to find out a little bit more about these things. I enjoy it, but like I say, I guess I got limited time on what, how long I'm going to be able to lug these mountains up and down. Just thankful for what time I got now.